Henrik Steffens was a Norwegian-born Danish philosopher, scientist, and poet. He was born at Stavanger, Norway. At the age of 14 he went with his parents to Copenhagen, where he studied theology and natural science. In 1796 he lectured at the University of Kiel, and 2 years later went to the University of Jena to study the natural philosophy of Friedrich Schelling. He went to Freiburg in 1800, and came under the influence of Abraham Gottlob Werner. After 2 years he returned to Copenhagen, and is said to have introduced German Romanticism to Denmark in 1802 with 9 lectures given at Illes Collegium, later published as Indledning til Philosophiske Forelesninger. These lectures were a great success and a source of inspiration in Danish Romanticism. They were attended by many who later became leading Danish thinkers, such as Oehlenschläger and Grundtvig. Friedrich Schelling was so much struck by their excellence that he endeavored, unsuccessfully, to obtain for Steffens a chair in the New Berlin University in 1804, in order that his own ethical teachings should be supported in the scientific department. Despite, or perhaps because of, the deep impact made by his lectures, Steffens was not made welcome by the Danish authorities. He moved back to Germany and took up a professorship at the University of Halle in 1804, to return to Denmark only occasionally. During the Battle of Leipzig he enlisted in the Prussian army as a second lieutenant, and he was present at the capture of Paris the following year. He was professor of physics at Breslau from 1811 until 1832, when he accepted an invitation to Berlin. Steffens was one of the so-called philosophers of nature, a friend and adherent of Schelling and of Schleiermacher. More than either of these two thinkers he was acquainted with the discoveries of modern science, and was thus able to correct or modify the highly imaginative speculations of Schelling. He held that, throughout the scheme of nature and intellectual life, the main principle is individualization. As organisms rise higher in the scale of development, the sharper and more distinct become their outlines, the more definite their individualities. This principle he endeavored to deduce from his knowledge of geology, in contrast to Lorenzo Kuhn, who developed the same theory on biological grounds. His influence was considerable, and both Schelling and Schleiermacher modified the theories in deference to his scientific deductions. His chief scientific and philosophical works are Betrachtung zur Inner- und Naturgeschichte der Erde, Grundzüge der philosophischen Naturwissenschaft, Anthropologie, über die Idee der Universitäten, über Geheimverbindungen auf Universitäten, Karikaturen des Heiligsten, wie der Lutheraner Werden was mehr das Luthertum ist, von der falschen Theologie und dem wahren Glauben, die Familienwahlsathen lief. Die vier Norweger, Malcolm. During the last 5 years of his life he read an autobiography, Was ich erlebte, and after his death his Nachgelassene Schriften was published. Ct. Etzen, zur Erinnerung an Steffens, Peterson, Henrik Steffens, Dilthey, Leben Schleiermachers.